You buy one pair of shoes and then suddenly every week that same organization is screaming at you about the sale that they have, or here's a 20% off, here's a 5% off, here's £5 off when you spend £40, here's £10 off when you spend £100. Leave me alone. Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Amanda, and on this channel I make quite literally whatever content I fancy making. And in today's video I have 10 tips for you on how to become financially smart in 2024 and avoid lifestyle creep at the same time. If this sounds like something of interest to you that you think would be helpful, then stick around and we'll get into it right now. If you enjoyed this video, do not hesitate to hit subscribe and like. I'd love to have you around, and leave any comments that you may have in the comment section below. I will happily answer any questions that you have. But yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so tip number 1 is to get internet, mobile notifications that will come through on your phone every time you purchase things. I seem to have activated these notifications without realizing 1 month, and then I bought some things online, and to my absolute horror I received a notification on my phone telling me how much I had just put onto my credit card. I have to say, it really changes your mindset when those notifications keep coming through. It makes you so aware of what you're spending money on, how much you're spending. There's nothing worse, trust me, than seeing £22 leaving on this day, and then £50 leaving on this day, and then £180 on this day. I mean, obviously, at the end of the month, when you go to pay for your credit card, you see the whole amount. But before you get to that end of the month and paying off the credit card, you could stop yourself from getting to that point of looking at what you have to pay and thinking, why did I spend so much this month? Why am I spending so much money? Instead of doing that, having the notifications will help keep you accountable. So if you say to yourself, I'm going to be spending less money this month, and then all of a sudden your phone is just making so much noise because it's notification after notification after notification after notification informing you that you purchased, I don't know, a pair of shoes on Friday, and on Saturday you went out for a meal, and then on Sunday you went and you bought something else. It will make you stop in your tracks, because you think, you're about to hit checkout and you think, do I really want another notification? Like, do I really, really want to know? So yes, that's my first tip. Get yourself into online banking, get the app on your phone and set it up in such a way that you will get notifications every single time you spend. Trust me, it will change the way you spend. Okay, and then tip number 2 is simply just to remember your goals. Most people are working towards some sort of goal that requires money. So let's imagine you want to go on holiday, and you are trying your best to build up a holiday pot of money, and you've given yourself maybe a year to build that up. Okay, remember that goal when you want to buy those other things that you don't necessarily need, because there's a huge difference between the things that you need and you want. Okay, and I'm sure some people, I mean, I am like this. I have to be so careful, and I have to remind myself, like, hey, you're saving up towards this financial goal. You literally don't have time to be spending money on useless items right now. Okay, and then tip number 3 is to pretend you are on your previous salary. So let's imagine you are currently on 35,000 a year, but you used to be on 27,000 a year. Okay? I'm going to need you to consider pretending that you are still on that 27,000. This is something that I try to do as much as possible. Whenever I get promoted, I try to pretend I'm still on my last salary or the salary before that. I try to live as like below my means as is physically possible, because the fact is, you know, when you're earning like 27,000 a year, you're surviving. Okay, you survived at that point. You were paying your bills, you were eating, you were going out occasionally with friends, and you still had money left over to save. So why is it now, when you get promoted and you're earning more money, that you think that you now have to increase your expenses in line with your salary increase? It's not required. It's not a good way to get into, you know, behaving, and it's not something that, it's not a routine you want to start creating. Because imagine then when you're earning like 80k or 100k, every single time that you've had a promotion up until that point, you've been increasing and increasing bit by bit by bit by bit how much you spend on a monthly or yearly basis. And so at some point there's going to be a case where the person on 27k and the person on 80k actually have a similar amount of disposable income to work with, because the person on 80 is just throwing their money at all of these useless liabilities that depreciate over time. Don't do it. And it will also cause you an issue if you are intending to retire early. You don't want to be throwing all of your money everywhere. Now, absolutely enjoy yourself, absolutely treat yourself, but do you really need to be treating yourself on a weekly basis, my friend? Because you weren't treating yourself on a weekly basis when you were on 27k. And let's think about, what does it really mean to treat yourself as well? Because what you would have maybe done on 27k to treat yourself is, you know, get yourself something little, something that's not really expensive. But now, at the end of the week, you want to get yourself like the most expensive bottle of wine that you can find. It's like, for what reason? For what reason? Just pretend you are on the salary that you used to be on, or the salary before that, depending on how many promotions you've had. Okay? Thank me later. Okay, so tip number 4 on how to become financially smart and avoid a lifestyle creep in 2024 is to pay down high interest debt. Now, I feel like something that's not spoken about very often when it comes to becoming financially smart and also avoiding lifestyle creep is that lifestyle creep can often creep into creating more debts for yourself, more things that you have to pay off. You know, a really extraordinarily priced car, a house that you could afford, but really, could you afford it? And now you've got a mortgage that is strangling you, that you're having to pay off. So I think the smartest thing to do is focus on what you currently have, do a little inventory of where you are at, and find the debts that are really high interest, that are growing the fastest, and get rid of them. Because regardless of anything else that's going on, the smartest thing to do in life is not have debts. I don't care how much you're earning, whether you're earning, 80k, 100k, if you're earning 20k. Debt is not an ideal thing to have, and it's smart to try and get rid of it as quickly as possible. In fact, I am in the process of getting rid of my student finance loan. If you would like to know more about how I plan to pay that off, then I'm happy to make a video about that. Let me know. But yes, pay down those debts. Get rid of them. Get rid of them. Tip number 5 is to save for retirement. I think this is a super smart thing to do and to start doing if you haven't started already. And I know you have like workplace pensions and then the state pension, but I mean that you start saving for your retirement. Personally, I'm not waiting for the state pension age to reach me before I retire. I'm not relying on my workplace pension as my pension. I'm paying towards it in the event that I get to the age stipulated within it to benefit from it, but I'm also on the side building my own retirement fund because I don't intend to retire at the UK retirement age, because I think it's actually insane that they think that people want to be working for that long. But I won't get into a rant about it, because I could get into a rant about it, because you can tell I'm on the cusp of a rant about the retirement age in this country. I think it's ridiculous. But anyway, I think it would be a really good idea to save towards your retirement. And this will indirectly help you to avoid lifestyle creep, because once you start paying into it, you know, paying into this pot that you create, you'll see it building up bit by bit over time. And I find that the more I see it building up, the less desire I really have to buy things that I don't need. Because I think, oh, you know, I could spend like £500 here, but I could also just put it in my retirement savings pot. And it, you know, it all adds up. It all adds up. But yeah, I'm probably going to do another video about retirement and how to save for retirement and how I'm saving for retirement. But do let me know if that is actually something that you'd be interested in hearing more about, because I don't think it's really something that people discuss. I know a lot of people that are working now, paying towards their retirement, as in their workplace pension via salary sacrifice, and also, you know, through working, becoming eligible for state pension. But I don't know anyone that actually has spoken to me about saving for your retirement yourself and taking that responsibility on yourself and taking ownership of that. But yeah, do let me know if you want to hear more about that, any tips and a little insight into what I'm doing. And tip number 6 is to consider the 50-30-20 rule. Now, this is where you put 50% of what you earn towards the things that you need. Think bills, think food, think important things, childcare. And then 30% goes towards the things that you want. And then 20% goes towards savings. Now you can adjust this accordingly depending on what works for you. I personally, but this is just because of my current circumstances, still living at home, I would say that I would lean more to putting, you know, I'd split 50-30-20 as maybe more like 50% savings, 30% needs, and 20% wants. That's personally how I structure things at the moment, but that's all based on what's possible for me in my current scenario. This is likely to change at a different time of life when I have different responsibilities and considerably more outgoings than I currently have. But regardless of who you are, what your family dynamic is, your living situation, adjust that 50-30-20 rule in a way that works for you. Maybe it won't be 50-30-20, maybe it'll be 60-40, maybe it'll be, I don't know, 40 and 20. You just have to make it work for your situation and what you can see that you'd be able to achieve. And that's really the main thing, is setting achievable goals for yourself when it comes to the 50-30-20 rule or any other variation of that rule. Okay, and tip number 7 is to create a budget. I never thought I would be a person that would be interested in budgets. The idea of creating a budget and hearing, like, in my mind, oh, you're going to have to create an Excel spreadsheet with all of this information. It just sounds like the most boring task ever. But I did make one near the beginning of 2023, and it has changed the game. So the way that I see creating a budget is maybe slightly unusual to the norm. So there are 2 ways that I see it. You can either create a literal budget that outlines how much money you are allowing yourself to spend on certain things per month, or you can go the route that I picked, which was to literally outline my expenses month by month and my savings month by month. And then what I do is every month I tally up that information, and at the end of my spreadsheet I leave a note that says, okay, what is the increase in my savings rate compared to the previous month? And it also gives me at a glance the ability to see how much I'm spending on a monthly basis and what's causing that. I think it's really helpful to be able to see at a glance how your finances are doing, what you need to focus on. You can even create a notes section on your spreadsheet after every single month where you leave notes for yourself, such as, I love to leave notes. For example, there was one month I was saving a certain amount towards my retirement, and I said to myself, actually, I think I could probably increase this by an extra £50 a month. And so I left a note on the spreadsheet to remind myself, we're going to increase this by £50 and see how we go. But yeah, it allows you to pivot and increase, decrease, and just take full control of where your finances are when you really have an idea of where you stand, because it can be quite daunting if you don't know the reality of your financial situation. So I'd absolutely 100% encourage anyone and everyone to create a budget, regardless of how much or how little money you have. Budget and organize and steward that money well, and it will make you feel better mentally. It clears a lot of questions, which is wonderful. But yeah, okay, so tip number 8 is to unsubscribe from marketing emails. Oh my goodness, do companies bombard us with marketing emails, or do they bombard us with marketing emails? You buy one pair of shoes and then suddenly every week that same organization is screaming at you about the sale that they have, or here's a 20% off, here's a 5% off, here's £5 off when you spend £40, here's £10 off when you spend £100. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Like, go away. Unsubscribe from marketing emails. Do yourself a favor. These people, there are, there's copywriters, there are people that do marketing. This is their job, to entice you in with their emails. So just when you get one, scroll down to the bottom, find the little word that says unsubscribe, and unsubscribe immediately, and have your inbox be a quiet place that isn't encouraging you to go and run for your debit or credit card, or run to the shop and purchase something. This is one of the biggest traps, and I'm constantly unsubscribing from emails, because if I paid attention to all of them, I would just be bleeding money on a weekly basis, and that is not really part of any of my financial plans. So get deleting. Okay, and tip number 9 is to evaluate your purchases. Delay your purchases, if you will. So let's imagine you're on a website and you see something and you're like, oh, I'd really like that. Put it in the basket, but don't buy it immediately. Leave it there. Come back in 24 to 48 hours. Look at it again and see if you still like it. I can be, if I'm not careful, I can turn into an impulse buyer. It is so easy. You see something, you want it, you buy you get your card. Before you know it, you've put through all the details. It's purchased, and they're telling you it's going to be coming in 3 to 5 working days. Sometimes when that item then comes, you open it, you look at it, and you think, why did I buy this? I really didn't need to spend this money, but now it's here. And sometimes you take so long to decide whether you're actually going to keep it, that you wait so long that the return, window has now ended. So you are now stuck, lumped. There's a word. You're stuck with this purchase that you don't even want anymore. I can't tell you the amount of clothes in the past that I have purchased and liked, and they still have the tag on them. Don't do it. Just think about it. Think about it. Because once you've, gone to sleep and woken up, you may have come to your senses and you may have realised, hey, actually, I don't need that top. I've actually got 15 tops already that look quite similar to this one. Or, oh, I don't need this, pair of trousers. Or I don't need this camera. Or, I don't need this gadget. Like, I'll be fine without it. Let me just use the other thing that I purchased that I haven't yet used first before I actually then buy something else. Evaluate your purchases. And then tip number 10 is to automate your savings. This will be a game changer for some people, and this might not work for other people. I'm giving you this advice, but I actually do not automate my savings, but that's because I get some sort of enjoyment out of signing onto my bank account and physically moving the money to the different pots. But I know that this can be a problem for a lot of people, and that sometimes it's best that you don't even see the money. So you could automate your savings process by, on the day that you get paid, have a direct debit situation where instantly that money, or a certain amount of that money, immediately gets sent off to your savings account, or immediately gets sent off to a completely different pot. So this will help you to just focus properly. This will help you to really just not spend too much money, and to really prioritize being financially smart and thinking about your future, because it could be a case, depending on your personality, that you sign on and you see your pay and all you can see is wonderful numbers, and then your brain starts thinking, oh, I'm going to go buy that dress, I'm going to go buy that, I don't know, gadget for my car, I'm going to go buy that handbag, I'm going to go buy that watch, and you've completely forgotten that you intended to save, and now you're not saving anything because you're just like, oh, let's spend everything, right? This process helps you to stop seeing all of your money and ensure that you aren't going to just, burn a hole in your own pocket. Absolutely recommend, if you think that for your personality type that this would be useful. If not, you could just use my approach and just stick to signing in when you get paid and just moving things to their appointed savings pot and go from there. But yeah, I really hope that you found these 10 tips useful and that they help you to avoid lifestyle creep and become financially smart in 2024. If you can think of any other tips that might be useful for me or the others that watch this video, then please do not hesitate to let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video and you think that you'll be sticking around, please consider hitting like and subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that you are notified every time I upload a new video. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.